Alrighty, greetings everyone. You have entered the corner, the rookie corner. Leave your shoes at the door, leave your troubles behind, because when you're hanging with the rookie, you're gonna have a damn good time. That's my pathetic new intro that I thought I would show everybody. Let me know what you think. I'm here with an awesome guest, Greta Zehner. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yep, heck yeah. It's going to be great having you. I am trying to see if there's anybody coming on in yet. Come on. It's taking a minute for it to load, so I'll get the chat up in a minute. But anyway, so before we get into our topics today, I wanted to give a shout out to Black Angus Reviews, who just crossed over 1K subscribers earlier in the week. His last 3 or 4 videos have all gotten over 3,000 views. One of them, I think, even got like up to 7,000-ish. So good job for him. I think that's his highest video. And Game of Thrones has been the biggest topic. We can talk about that in a little bit too if you want. And let's see, the Fandom Collective YouTube channel. I'm one of the members of it, one of the founding fathers of the channel. And the Twitter has reached over 1,000 followers, and that is great. We've got some even really big YouTubers following us recently, which we'll share that next week and we might do a founding father stream with all 5 of us if we can all somehow get together within the next week or so. And another shout out to my buddy Anomaly Inc. He was just at 2,500 subs not that long ago. Now he's just less than 300 away from 20K. His Game of Thrones videos has been killing it. I think the last one I looked at had over 300,000 views on one of his videos. He is rocking it out of the park. And one last shout out to Stephen Walton, who's trying to make a Fandom Menace book. And I love that. I love that idea because I looked at the book that this other guy posted 1 year ago called The Dark Side of the Fandom Menace, which his bio alone was horribly written, and I can't imagine how horrible the actual content is inside of that book. But this guy's doing it right. He's asking people around the Fandom Menace community. He's trying to get all his facts straight. He is passionate about this. He's going to do a darn good job with this book. But anyway, without further ado, let's see if my darn chat has loaded yet. Oh, come on. What the heck? Usually on my phone it's working. I'll just look on the computer real quick. See who's in here.
I think you've got
Anomaly Ink's here. Anomaly Ink's here. Yep. What's up, buddy? I usually have at least 10 people in right now. Yep. What's up, dude? Yeah. Okay. Since I was gonna start greeting people. That's all good. So, while people will watch this on the replay, of course, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your channel?
So it's funny, I didn't really think that I was ever going to do any YouTube videos. I just have obviously a profile just to watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But back in December, I was following Odin's channel for a while because he's a personal friend of mine. And I always thought, it looks really fun. And I have a film degree, and I feel like I haven't been able to use it for anything. And I have such a love of film history. So I thought, you know what, why not make videos about something that I love, which is film history, and being able to go back into like doing some research. And back in college, I would write a lot of papers on a lot of random things. And I made some videos on those papers, but but now I've been able to get back into it with videos, and it's really made me passionate about movies. Not that it stopped, but for a while I just was kind of like, felt like I wasn't really doing anything with that.
Right, like you still love it, but you aren't able to do anything about it, kind of like you weren't able to express it as much.
Yeah, and I have like a few friends who like to talk about films, but not like as much as I do.
I feel that.
Yeah, and so I've been really liking it so far.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad. I kind of had a similar thing, except for mine was I wasn't actually in the film industry ever with it. I grew up loving film, just regular amount, and I was getting into writing like for a book style. I thought I was trying to be the youngest kid author which I doubt was even possible at the time. There was probably somebody that's done that before. And then at some point that grew into wanting to do scripts, and Star Wars, I think, played a big part of that. The imagination that goes with that. I try to write me and my friends within the Star Wars universe. And I still have those old stories, which are horrible to read. I try to read them, and it's hard to even get by a sentence because the grammar is so off and whatnot. But I might read those one day for a video. Who knows? But yeah, that's evolved. And then one day I kept on trying to write scripts for a story. I'm like, that's a great story. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, I keep on rewriting stuff, and then I have like 6 or 7 spirals full of notes and things I've written and whatnot, and I'm not getting anywhere with it. And I'm like, okay, I got to start applying myself for something. So I bought a camera, bought video editing system, and started recording stuff. And then it was on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, I'll try to make it a YouTube channel. All right. And at first, I had 7 subscribers, just friends. That nobody watched my videos, like they're Facebook friends, basically.
Yeah.
And nobody watches anything. And I had 40 videos, nobody watched them really. And then finally, I took an 8-month break, came back, refined my tune, and boom, went off. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's me. So yeah, you just started YouTube how long ago? Like your
December. Almost 6 months ago, I guess. Like since it was December when I posted my first. Well, technically, my first video is my demo reel, which I posted a couple months before, but that wasn't.
Right, that doesn't count as your like YouTube channel start. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was in December, and not like I'm expecting my channel to grow. I'm really not I'm not expecting myself to get monetized anytime soon. But it's just something that I do for fun, basically.
Right.
And I hope that like others enjoy it.
Well, I hope so too. I really liked your last video that you posted about the robots or the future? I forget.
Oh yeah, that was such a random idea, and I was like, wait, there's a lot of movies about the future, and they're all like sort of different. Oh, that'd be a good video idea.
I think that's why I liked it, because I never would have thought of that idea. I'm like, that's a very out there idea. Like usually people do such kind of obvious types of things with their videos, or like not obvious, but like they've been done before, so you're not doing anything new with it. But that seemed like hey, that's a little different. Okay, so
yeah, I don't know how I thought of that. Yeah, I hope I can do more videos like that, but it's kind of hard to make videos. Like I try to do it every week, but for a while it's been kind of difficult because I've been working a lot, and I want to put like real research into whatever video I'm doing. And yeah, I don't want it to be something that somebody has already done,
Right, I know what you mean. I kind of feel like along with that a lot of people don't, like, they'll do the research that they do, but they don't look at enough angles, I suppose, or they click on one of the first things that they find or something. Because I found doing research, I know that somebody else does research on their video, but then I research it and I find different things that they didn't mention. I'm like, well, why did they put that in there? Maybe they didn't look at that extra website or something, or I don't know. So
there's been some people who have commented, hey, you didn't mention this and this and this. And sometimes I'm like, well, it would have made the video too long. And because there's one person who talked about my superhero movie video, and he said, you talked about like the first Batman movie in like 1943, but why not 1949? And I'm like, well, I mentioned Batman like 3 times in this video alone. It can't just be all about Batman.
You get to mention every single one ever in existence of all time.
Yes, every single superhero movie ever.
Yes. I'm just going to say hello to the chat. We got some people rolling on in. So, yep, Anomaly Inc., of course. Thomas Gilkey, Star Wars for Life. What's up, Ruth? Alex Lates. Greta, I recommend that you check out Alex, because he's got unique videos. Speaking of unique ones, he does sword fight videos, or he doesn't like make the sword fights, but he is doing a top 10 list. He does a lot of sword videos, basically. That's what he does. And he goes over like their fencing techniques and points out a lot of films that like I haven't heard of myself, where they have some interesting looking sword fights, and not just the sword fights, the characters that go along with it when they're fighting each other. So he's got a definitely good channel for that, and also some Doctor Who stuff and whatnot. So.
And a fun fact, I did take a stage combat class in college, and for our final exam, we learned this fight choreography throughout the semester, and our final exam was actually performing that fight choreography.
Oh, really?
And I have it. I think I have the full video somewhere.
You need to post that. Holy crap, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I have like a sword in one hand and a dagger in another, and it's just me and my friend, and we're just going at it.
That's badass.
It was really fun, but it's like a lot more work than people think it is.
I imagine. Well, it's like because everybody looks at it and goes, "Oh yeah, that should be simple." But I haven't really had to do that with anybody before. But just acting by myself, the way you have to do things, you position yourself. You got to be in the right angle for the cameras. You got to do your move. You have to react to their move, do another move.
Yeah, and you don't want to hurt the other person either.
Right, and you have to keep your keep in character if you're playing a character, so you don't just go, while you're fighting or something.
Oh yeah, like it's funny when we were practicing the choreography, they're like, Greta, you gotta grunt, you gotta be into it, like you're working really hard. So like the actual video, I'm like, ah, ah, ah.
That's awesome. Like I said in the video before where I did the reaction to your demo reel, you just find some of your old stuff, your old audition tapes or something, to post that up there. You'd be surprised how people would appreciate it. Or I
don't know if I can post auditions because there might be something like not legal about that.
Or if you edit it so it's just like you in the audition, or if you ask permission from the people. I don't know how that works either, but like I see it like. If I look back at my first videos that I posted, they are embarrassing. They are very embarrassing, but I like to keep them up so that people can go back and look at where I was and then see where I am now. And like
I did post me reacting to my first lead role in a play, which I don't think a lot of people watch because it's very long actually. Because the play was like 2 hours, and so I had to cut a lot out.
Yeah, I'd say cut that to 20 minutes tops or something. As far as the play goes, I'm not sure how many people would watch a play on YouTube or something. But
yeah, but it's funny because like me in the play, I'm very like really over dramatic, and I'm just like, oh god, I haven't seen this in 10 years, and it's cringy. I actually have a lot of
plays are supposed to be over dramatic, right? Like, isn't that like part of the thing? You got to be loud. You gotta,
Yeah, I'm like I think I played the character well because the character was very overdramatic and loud. She was just like she wasn't spoiled, but she was like a bratty 12-year-old. So I played a bratty 12-year-old. So
that's awesome. Let's see. So yeah, Alex Lathis is in here, and then the Senate is here, as well as Maka D2. I'm just gonna call him D2 because I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Yep, he says, "Hail the Fandom Menace." And he says you always have to learn, or you always leave something else if you want a video to run under an hour. Yep, true that. D2. They're trying to find. They're trying to find Alex's link. Oh, if guys in the link, if you are in the chat, if you want to click the 3 dots that come up next to people's names, that thing will say go to their channel, and then you can just find their channel like that, easy peasy. But for Greta, her link is in the description, just right below. The Lonely Banter stopped by. What's up, buddy? And all right, so this is some good conversation. Speaking of the theaters, though, of plays, I wanted to do a video at some point about the difference between film and theater, because when I was trying to look for a film class at my school, and they're I'm in Washington, like they don't really offer that many film options for education. Like in Oregon, there's some, but like not even like they wouldn't be considered that high, like compared to California or Florida or New York or something. And so I took one class, which is the only one they had, which was Intro to Cinema, and that's it. But then there's like a drama class, and then there's like a acting class, and then other aspects of theater. But I'm like, they're like, oh, why should you do that? It's the same thing as film. Like, wait a second. No, it isn't. My instinct was no, it isn't. They're like, well, what's the difference? I'm like, well, okay. And on top of my head, I'm like, there's a stage for one, as to where in a movie you can be on many different sets, inside or outside. Plays typically aren't original scripts, right? They usually like reenact something from a story or an old play or something else, right? For the most part.
I mean, it depends. There are some people who do write their own plays. Actually, recently I saw my friend in a play, and it was written about a true story that happened in Florida, and it was only written like maybe a year ago.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, yeah, a lot of people do like the classic plays that are well known and well received.
Right. Well, and there's that, and then it's like there's no like if there's somebody recording a play that's completely different than recording like a scene for a film, or most of the stuff in film gets edited to look like the film and stuff. And then there's that aspect of the editing and the all the post edit, pre filming, everything. There seems to be a lot more differences between film and theater than one would think. So I don't know, but I thought that'd be an interesting idea for video one of these days.
Oh no, yeah, theater and film are vastly different, especially even when you just think of the acting style. For theater, it's obviously it's bigger than life, so this is why a theater was very hard for me, because you have to reach the back row and project.
Yeah, so you have to be very loud.
Yeah, and it's very hard to act natural and project at the same time. And I think that was what was hard for me when I was in theater, because I wanted to act very natural, and I'm obviously a very soft-spoken person too. So I always had trouble projecting, and that's why I felt more comfortable in film, because you can be as quiet as you want because there's a lavalier mic and another mic that can pick you up.
As long as the mics pick up the audio, you're good.
And also ADR. So,
True.
Yeah, and film acting can be very, very subtle, but you still understand the emotion. With theater, obviously, you can't do that. You gotta make sure the audience knows what you're feeling, even if they're sitting very far away.
True, that's a good point. Well, and it's like I feel like with the camera, I mean, the movement of the camera, the whatever song's playing, whatever they're showing, all of this stuff can help manipulate how you feel. As to where when you're watching a play, everything's stationary, so it's like moving on the thing. So there's just differences with it. But I'll change the subject in a second. Everybody's saying salutations. Yep, Charlie Buster says most plays are original. Yeah, that could be. I figured whenever they use examples in a show or a movie, they always do a play of something else. They never like go, hey, let's make one. So that's why I thought that. Yeah. But anyway, so I was gonna ask you, so as far as actress. So I think I've asked you this before on a live stream, but for people here, have you gotten any actual gigs in acting?
I have. I mean, I'm very early in my career. I joined the Screen Actors Guild a year ago, so I've been in there for a year. I've been in one television show and one movie that is yet to be released. The television show was called Queen Sugar. It's on OWN, which is Oprah's network. It was 2 lines, but it was still, a legit show.
Was it the same lines in the demo reel?
Yeah. That was basically my part in the show. But I got to work with Regina Wesley, who is on True Blood, and she's really, really nice. And everybody on that set was very nice. And the movie I was in, and it should be coming out, I think, because I ran into my co-star at an audition like maybe last week, and he said that it's coming to Netflix, but he doesn't know when. So it's going to come out at some point on Netflix. But it's called Eat Brains Love. It's based on a book series. It's obviously about zombies. It takes place in high school. It's like a horror comedy, and my character. So at the beginning of the movie, there's a zombie attack in the cafeteria. Like these 2 teenagers like become zombies. It's almost like they're the Hulk. When they feel a certain emotion, they become like zombies and they start murdering people.
Okay.
And I was one of the like the survivors of the attack. And then there's this group of people who are investigating it, but they're like kind of like the Men in Black. They don't want people to know about the zombies. Okay. So they can look into your memories and then erase them. And so I'm one of the people who they interrogate, and then they go into my memories and see how things happen through my eyes. and then they erase it. And they like replace it with like a school shooting or something.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's my only part in the movie. I'm like technically in 3 scenes, but I'm just pretty much there for exposition.
Well, hey, that's something. I like that. That's cool. That sounds like an interesting idea too. Zombie attack, Men in Black type of thing at high school. That's an interesting scenario.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty original. I really like the script. It's very, very raunchy and violent too. It's very R-rated.
I'm almost imagining like Seth Rogen and those guys to kind of roll on in or something. Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, actually,
we're gonna get
that. It does kind of seem like their kind of movie. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna let people know when it comes out. Once I find out when it comes out,
I think when that starts coming around to like being a month within release or something, you should start promoting it on your channel even, or see or on the live streams or something, and promote the thing so people can watch that and whatnot. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. It sounds like an interesting movie for an original movie. That's good.
Yeah, so if I were to guess, I'd probably say October because it seems like kind of a Halloween sort of movie. But then again, I don't know. Scary movies can come out any time of the year.
Well, it isn't even coming out in October.
Yeah, it's coming out in September.
Yeah.
So
why would they do that? Do it on Halloween or around there. But yeah.
I mean, did you see the trailer for that? It looks so good.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was kind
of. What do you think of the new cast?
I think they're probably fine. I forget who's all in it. Is it Bill Hader?
James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, and these 2 other people who are kind of unknown.
I think that's probably a good move because if you have too many familiar people, then it won't really feel like a It sequel. I think Bill Hader's a good choice for it because he's more of the comedic role and skit comedy and stuff, and having him in a movie like this, I want to see what he can do in that. That's good. He's more of an impersonator type of thing, impressions and whatnot. So I want to see what he can do on that. How did you like the first It movie?
I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Oh no! I mean the first.
Oh, the first one, the 1990 TV movie. Oh yeah, I watched that when I was like a kid, and I mean, I know the production quality is not great, but I can still rewatch it. It's still like, it's fun to watch.
It's bad, but it's fun bad.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can watch it over and over because it's fun.
Like when I was a kid, it did kind of freak me out, but like seeing it now, I'm kind of like, what is this movie? Like when he comes out of the shower, he just
I know.
I get the urge to want to run up and kick him in the head, but okay. And then like if you ever watched it, I know that a lot of people hate Channel Awesome. But the Nostalgia Critic does a pretty good review of it, I would say, and he like does funny like little clips the way they're edited, so it's funny, and like has the kid in the shower and the guy's there, and he does his little threat, and then he's just kind of still sitting halfway in the sewer, just looking at him, not making a noise. Just cut back to the kid, just like, okay, he's just like, It's like he makes it like a cartoon, how he's like, in the. Or whatever with Tim Curry, and then in the newest It, how he's all dancing around. He like plays a Looney Tunes logo around them doing this like dance. So it's like it's like, oh my god, it's like not really scary. It is kind of funny, if anything. Even the new one, but the new one does have scarier elements. I would say like I don't feel like it's actually freaky, but they have good sound effects that make it feel like it's kind of creepy, like when it does its bone thing. So I was like, okay, that's a little. If I were to be there and it's all crackling up, like okay, I can see the fear.
There's only one part in the new movie where I actually like jumped, and it's the projector scene where he suddenly comes out of it. Like I was not expecting that. That was the only part where I really like was scared. Because I mean, a lot of scary movies don't really scare me that much, but I still like enjoy them.
Yeah, with me, I actually laughed at that part. I was just kind of like, what does he do? What? It's like, is this okay? I don't know. In my head, I was like, that just seems kind of silly because my one grievance, I have a few grievances with that movie. Like, I liked a lot of things, but I also didn't like a lot of things. One of them was it's so constant with him being in the movie. like the whole time. Like I felt like if they haven't directly encountered him as much, and then he's right here and he's a giant, that would be freakier than they already him many times. So by this point, it's like, oh, he's back again. It's another Tuesday. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But there's and when he's like waving the hand and he's all bloody, that's kind of funny. Just like
okay, that's random.
There's like a gif of like Forrest Gump like waving back to him, and he's like, that's good. But yeah, for it too, I was kind of confused on what they were implying. So is this the same Pennywise from before, or his daughter? Because they made it sound like he had a daughter or something with the image, with the photo that she was looking at.
No, I think Pennywise is trying to trick Beverly into thinking that she's safe, and then when she slowly realizes that it's Pennywise, and that's when he can really freak her out because he wants her to be scared, because he feeds off of fear.
Well, right, but like when she looks at the photo of the clown, like there's the clown cart, and then the guy's face in the photo kind of looked like Pennywise, but then there's like a little girl next to him, and I think
Pennywise just manipulated that photo.
And she was like, and she was saying like, "Are you still Daddy's little girl?" or something. Like I don't know, the way they said it was as if the spawn of it is here to get revenge or something. But
no, it's the same it.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to learn about some of the lore of it through YouTube. I'm not going to read the books. I'm sorry.
I tried reading the book before the first movie came out. It's so long.
Yeah.
And it focuses on like the little details of things that don't really matter, and you're just like, I just can't. It's hard to get through.
Yeah, but hearing about it, I'm like, what in the hell is with this universe here? Or because other people like make it sound like it's part of other movies sometimes. I'm like, what? They're like, there's a turtle thing, and it's like a god that's omnipotent. It's like got a battle with this other entity, and you can only see this. You can only comprehend that type of form and something. And then somebody says like Langa. Like, what the hell is this? It's this thing. I thought it was a clown that's trying to kill kids. Nope. It's got to be. I feel like that's a Marvel syndrome in a way, where it's like, okay, you can't just have this. No, you got to have this and this and that and this and go bigger and bigger. Oh, you thought that the king was bad. Well, now there's the king above the king. Then there's the god above the gods, and it's like.
There's actually a really good video by the film theorists about how Stephen King's movies are all connected. They're all in the same universe.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was really interesting, and he made a really good point.
I kind of like when they make a point like that. That makes me kind of want to see them intertwine, like just the concept, because we've seen them separate.
Yeah,
and like as dumb as it might be, that might be interesting to see something where they all combine. But then again, there's no like main character to connect to.
Yeah,
They like to go, oh yes, the blind kid in that one film, and then this one from these, and I don't know if they'd really connect well on that, but that's all right. So I don't know why we got off track with just it, but here. So what was I going to say? So what commercial were you in? You said you're in a commercial.
Did you see that on my Instagram?
No, I don't really. I have an Instagram, but I don't really do much on there.
The last commercial I did was for Mellow Mushroom, which was like a pizza place, and my agent just like emailed me one day, and she's like, "Hey, they want you for this commercial," and I'm like, "I don't remember auditioning for a commercial," and they're like, "Oh, they just picked you out of your headshot." I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And so, yeah, I was like, I played a waitress. I'm like barely in the commercial. I don't even know if it like aired on TV. I think I saw it on YouTube. But I got a free box of pizza afterwards because I had to like make a bunch of pizzas for the shoot, and so I got to take like 2 home.
That's a win in my book. Hell yeah, that's that's a good thing.
What other? Have I been in another commercial? I mean, there was one for our like local news. This was like 12 years ago, like a long time ago, and it was about like an essay contest, and you'd win like a DVD player or something, and it was about like your Hurricane Katrina experience. And my line was, "We lost everything," because it was like a one line. It was like cutting to different.
Was it? We lost everything.
No, it was just cutting to different kids saying like these sort of lines about it, and yeah, it was very, very quick, like a second.
Okay.
I didn't get paid for it or anything because it was like our local news.
Right. They're not going to pay everybody to be in the news real quick. Like, you're on the news. You're welcome.
Yeah, but so I think those are the only commercials I've really been in.
Okay. Is there something that you want to be in, like either that you've auditioned for or that you would want to if you could, like even if you know you probably won't or can't, but like if you could want to be in for a TV show or movie?
Well, last year I had an audition for a lead role in a Lifetime movie, and well, actually, now that I think about it, I kind of take that back because I'm glad that I didn't book it because it's about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but it's not The Act. It wasn't that one. It's a Lifetime movie about the same thing. But now I'm like, I'm glad I didn't book that because it would have been totally overshadowed by The Act. And so no one's going to watch that movie now.
Right.
And I don't even know when that's coming out. But for this movie, they changed all the names and they probably changed some of the story. But it was obviously about that. Let me see. I gotta think about all the things that I auditioned for recently.
Well, I mean, I assume Game of Thrones is out.
Well, the thing about Game of Thrones is, I think they wanted to stick to people from the UK.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I think the only American on that show is Peter Dinklage. I mean, if they asked me to audition for Game of Thrones, that'd be great.
British accent or something.
Let me see. I'm trying to think. What was some of that? I really want to be on NCIS New Orleans because I used to be a personal assistant for an actress that was on the show, and I feel like that would just be really cool if I was able to book even just like a one-liner role on the show, so I can just like say, "Hey, we both got to be on the show." And that's like the biggest thing filming here in New Orleans is NCIS.
You could be the dead body, or you could be the one that gets killed real quick at the beginning, or the one that they get questioned first that they just move on. No, there's a lot of extras. There's a lot of extras in that show.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of extras in that show, and it's funny because whenever I would be on set a lot, and I'm like, I could just totally sneak in and be an extra and nobody would know.
Okay, you extra number 5. Okay, yeah, you go to your thing. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't get paid obviously, but right. I mean, I could have just snuck and walked in on one scene because I was like on set filming a lot.
That makes sense. So speaking of being on set and stuff, so what's the auditioning process, I suppose, for you? So like, how do you go out and look for something that you want to be in?
Well, I have an agent, and she she asks me like what my castability is, and so we discussed that, and I look very young for my age. People have said that I can play as young as 14, which I'm not real sure about, but
I'd say 16 minimum.
Yeah, that's like my area is like 16 to like 18 is mostly the roles I go out for. And so what my agent does is that she might get like a roster from casting directors about films that are either filming here in New Orleans or Atlanta or somewhere in between, because she's in Atlanta. And Atlanta is like the #1 spot for films right now. And if there is a role fit for me, then she will contact the casting director and send them my headshot and resume. And if they think that they like my look, they will give me the opportunity to audition. And they will send me sides, which are just some lines that my character would say in a scene. And sometimes it's either just that's the whole role, or obviously there's more to it. And either it could be a taped audition, or it could be I could go in live for it. And when I go in live, my agent will say, okay, so we'll have an audition for you. It's live and it's going to be on this day. When can you come in? And sometimes there isn't a slot for me to come in because I might have work or something and can't take off. And so then you would tape it and send it in. But usually that's not the best idea, because it's better for casting director to see you live, because then they can give you adjustments and everything. And so when you go in live for an audition, obviously you want to be as off book as possible. And I've learned from acting classes that they're not that harsh on you if you're not completely off book, but just study it enough so that you're not looking at the page the whole time. And I've learned a lot from my acting teacher not to get really nervous about it, because they're not there to judge you. They want you to make their job easier for them in finding the right person for the role.
Yeah, I would assume, as one who, like, I haven't acted like anything officially, I would assume that they would be looking for your ability to be able to act, whether or not you stick to the lines directly. I would assume, like, like if people are trying to...
you don't want to... No, you definitely do not want to improvise unless the casting director tells you to improvise.
Right, but I mean, like, if you if you're saying the script, but you, like, maybe missed one line, but you emoted it really well or something.
Yeah, if you missed a line and then you're done... That's even happened to me once, where they said, hey, that was great. You just missed this line, though. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, let's just do it again. Yeah, like, casting directors in New Orleans are pretty nice. I mean, I don't know about LA, though. I hear they're pretty harsh. But, yeah, it's... I don't really get nervous for auditions anymore, because as long as you're, like, prepared, like, you should be fine. And also, booking a role, it's not necessarily, oh, I wasn't the best. It could be a number of reasons beyond your control. For instance, like, I just had an audition for, it was like young Estelle, but I'm like, okay, that means I have to look like the actress who plays older Estelle, and maybe I don't look like that person. So even though they love my audition, I don't look like that person, so they can't cast me. And that's actually happened before with a friend of mine back in college was making a student film, and this is actually how we met, and then now we're, like, really good friends. I auditioned for it, and he said he loved my audition, but he didn't cast me because the person playing my mom was a blonde, and I obviously have very dark brown hair.
Okay.
So he said, that's the reason I couldn't cast you. And I hang it over his head every day.
You're like, make her hair brown. Make it to match yours. No, I got you. No, that's interesting. I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, a lot of people... Like, I hear a lot of people talk about wanting to go into the film industry in some way or do something, but, like, a lot of people end up stopping before they start, like, assuming there's so much more work, or that they tried it once or twice, but, just weren't lucky yet or something. And they're like, I don't want to, waste time doing this and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'm trying to assess it in a different way too. Like, different situations, how you go about it, what type of thing are you looking to be in and whatnot. Like, for me, like, I'm trying to get my experience by doing it first, and then go to, that was going to be my idea of how I would do film in the first place. But I was able to talk to Ray Kennicks, the actress who is playing as Ahsoka in the new Ahsoka fan trailer that came out. And they're working on a fan film soon for Star Wars, and she's like an actual actress too. And she suggested definitely go to film school, because she's worked with people that that have their own independent experience, but not film school experience. And they're good, but they're only good in specific areas. And when she asks them to do something basic that they teach in film schools, they didn't know what it was. And so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So
yeah, there are a lot of techniques that you really would need to know being in any sort of film, obviously depending on what you want to do. But I mean, when I was in college, I took a lot of classes that like there weren't really things that I was interested in. Like I took a production class and I learned how to be like a producer and a cinematographer, and those things I'm not really interested in being, but it was interesting to learn what goes into those positions.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, like I want to be a director someday,
Yeah.
and I figure trying to learn as much of anything involved in the whole process as I can. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Which I don't know if that's like too much at once, but I mean, like I can't really work on lighting because I only have light bulbs that are in the house, and that's it.
Yeah.
So pretty much the positioning, like if you ever watch any of my skits, I'm literally cameras still, and I'm moving around. And I'll be wearing something like this to represent me as the rookie, and then I'll have like a different look, a different shirt, or like usually different shirts are the main things, and maybe a jacket, and maybe something else like a headband or something to be a different character, and then cut it in a way so it looks like I'm talking to somebody, and then like I have a lot of fights in it too, and I try to insert sound effects, so it's like whoosh, 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 try to make it cool, and I have stock effects where I can make it kind of look like I'm shooting like an energy blast out of my hands. So like I've learned a lot just from tinkering like this and trying to do it, and like it's fun, but like I want to work with people too, because that's the main part of film. You can't ever have like a real successful film without working with people and telling them what to do and stuff. And so I was going to ask you, so like working with directors and stuff, like even if you haven't had as many gigs, like would you say you've had a lot of experience working with directors, producers, stage people, like on sets and whatnot, and what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, I've not worked with producers, but yeah, I've worked with a lot of different directors from professional to non-professional. And yeah, again, in theater, it's very, very different. And with one film, like you probably saw it in the demo reel, it was the really depressing one where I was like crying and stuff.
Yeah.
The director was, yes, the director was a pretty good friend of mine at the time and knew a lot of personal things about me. And so for that scene in particular, I mean, I was actually very, very upset. Like I was real emotion because it was shot at my old apartment, and I like isolated myself from the cast and crew. And before that scene, his name's Diego, and he came in and he's like, "Hey, are you ready?" And I'm like, I just can't get it. I don't know what to do to get there. And he like sat down and we had a conversation and we talked about some personal thing, and he was able to get that emotion out of me for that scene. And so I think it's very beneficial when you know your director very well, because they can get those emotions out of you without trying to like insult you, I guess. Like,
has anybody ever tried to do that as a tactic or something? Like, is like, you're fat, you're this, you're that, you're never gonna find anyone or something?
Actually, yeah.
You really do.
It wasn't for film though. It was for theater. I had a director. I mean, he did know me kind of well, but the tactics that he used were very like borderline abusive, because it was like midnight, and my co-star and I were very, very tired, and it was me and this other guy, and he thought that yelling at me and insulting me would make me get it, make me like act better.
That'll connect everything. I'll plug it right in, just louder.
Yeah, I mean, all it did was just make me mad, and so yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I'd be getting like, okay, buddy, stop yelling, man. Okay, testing the patience.
Yeah, so and then with Eat Brains Love, I mean, that wasn't like such a super emotional role, but I mean, the director like had like a very specific vision of what he wanted, and he was very like very calm. It was like, hey, that was great, but we need you to just be a little bit more anxious, okay? And I'm like, all right, got it, yeah. So I haven't really I've had mostly good experiences with directors, not counting that one theater director. But yeah, I haven't had a bad experience yet, so I'm hoping that I don't anytime soon. Most people have been really cool.
That's
Yeah.
good. Do they tell you? Do they tell you how they want you to kind of feel, like ahead of time, like when they hand you the script, or is it kind of like here's the script, and then we're on the set, we see how you do, and then they kind of start coaching. Sometimes, like it's hard to
It
understand
depends.
exactly the process. Yeah.
It depends on the role and how emotional it is. For Queen Sugar, I didn't
Like let's just
emote
say for your
at all.
let's just say for your unreachable one,
Yeah.
like you said that you've had to, took a little bit to get into that, and then if you were to
Yeah.
do another one, I can't use an example for what you've done with it, so I'm trying to think. I can't think of one at the moment, but like if you had to, like in sitcoms or something, when they have like they're doing their moments, they're whatever la di da, and then it's like an emotional weight gets dropped, and then like they have to feel in the moment, they have to start emoting right there on the spot. Have you ever had to do anything like
Uh,
that, where you're like in the middle of acting, like, oh hey, how's it going, Susan, and whatever and things, and then whatever, well, you slept with your husband or something, or
I
they
haven't
say
had the
something,
privilege of being in a scene like that yet
and
for
then
film.
you have to like
I mean, I
do it on
have
the spot.
for
Yeah.
I have for like acting class, I've had scenes like that, but not for anything that I've uh, been in film wise, except for Unreachable. I think it might be on YouTube, but I think the director might have made it unlisted. I'm not sure. But at the beginning of the movie, I mean, I honestly don't like my acting in the beginning because that was like the first day of the shoot, and it just wasn't
You weren't in
there
the
yet.
you weren't in the role yet, probably.
Yeah, and I could be like the first thing that happens is that I'm on the phone with my mom, and then she gets into a car crash right when I'm on the phone with her, and I think she died. And that's very hard to do, to act like you just heard your mom got killed.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes like if you think about it for a minute, if you have the time to stare, like then you might be able to get into it. But then it's like, yeah, if you're acting, you're like, okay, and go, and then okay, I'm doing the things, and then yeah, that'd be kind of hard to get
Yeah,
into that.
it's something that you really have to think about. And I mean, that was a couple of years ago. So now that I think about how would I react to some horrible news like that? What's like the natural human reaction to that? And I mean, yeah, he actually had a specific vision of how my character should react. He like showed me like a video of another movie where this is how a certain character reacted, and um like that's like the only point in the movie where I didn't like my acting because it wasn't. I mean, I think I know to me that I know that I could have pushed myself a little bit farther, but yeah, that's the only time where I had an actual emotional reaction in a scene in a like real film. I again, yeah, I've never had. I would love to have like the privilege of booking something where I actually get to emote, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be good. Is there like a do you want to be in any type of genre of a film or show, like a vampire or supernatural type of one, where it's like creatures and mystic stuff or something, or like a sci-fi or a historical, like Old West, or just a
I
regular modern
definitely,
day?
I definitely want to be in like historical films because I love history, and I'd love to be in any sort of period piece because I love the costumes and the sets and just thinking about like what it was actually like at that time, like how did people act and everything. I would definitely love to be in a period piece, and I would love to be in also in like some sort of fantasy too, where I mean, not that I'm like, oh, I really want to work with green screen, but like using your imagination for a lot of things. And it reminds me of there's a clip of Amelia Clark on the dragon, the green screen dragon, looking at the green screen King's Landing, and it's crazy how much imagination she had to have for that scene, like right before she burns everybody. But
Right, of course.
yeah, it would be kind of cool to be on set and use your imagination and then watch the movie and just see everything coming to life. That would be really cool.
That's one of the things that I actually give a lot of credit for on the Star Wars prequels. You know how everybody like makes they're like, oh, all they do is act on green screens or blue screens or whatever. I'm like, yeah, they're acting with just screens around them.
Yeah, they have nothing to work with.
They don't know what type of universe they're in until they see it on the screen. They have no idea there's flying cars. I mean, yeah, you've probably told stuff, but it's different to be told than to see it. And I feel like, they having to emote whatever, or like even like if he and Padme are emoting in a scene and, they don't even know what the heck type of room they're in, like outside or what, I mean, I feel like that kind of affects it because like you're supposed to be in a space, and then like, okay, you have to emote your thing here and you don't want to make it too earthly. So you gotta, I don't know, the way they talk, I think they do a good job, is what I'm saying for it. So and if you're in the room and you're supposed to have an emotional moment and it's just green around you, like
it'd be kind of hard to get into it.
You can't look at a kitten on the wall to okay, something. It's something to make you feel something. And it's like nope, nothing, void.
Yeah, so I give a lot of credit to actors who have to work with green screen.
Yeah, I agree, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see you playing as like a Old West character or something, or.
Were you there for in my live stream? I talked about how I was an extra in a Magnificent Seven.
No, I didn't. No, I dipped out after an hour, I think.
Yeah, so funny story. This was it was only for one day. I think I was covering for somebody for a day because I think they used the same extras throughout the whole shoot. And I got to wear like old-timey dress and I had a bonnet. And I am actually in the movie. There's have you seen it? Magnificent Seven?
No, I've not yet. Not yet.
I mean,
hold on. Is Magnificent Seven the one with Morgan Freeman in them or Adam Sandler?
No, it's Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke.
Okay, because there's the ridiculous. Okay, I was thinking of the Ridiculous Six for a sec, where
no,
pretty much spoofed that, I think, and I didn't see that either. But there's all these different ones. So no, I'm not seen that one yet.
No, it's a remake of an old Western movie, but none of those main actors were on set that day.
Okay, right. Just one of the extra scenes.
This was like this was like the stunt double day. I think they're doing a lot of stunts that day, and my big scene, I guess, is when it's during the montage where like they're getting ready for the bad guys to come, and this girl runs outside of the schoolhouse and starts ringing a bell, and then everybody from the schoolhouse, the teacher comes out first, and then all the little kids come out, and then there's a pan shot where we see all the little kids running, and then I'm literally the last person in line, and I'm holding these two little 5-year-old girls' hands, and then it just cuts to another shot.
I thought you were gonna say you're lifting them up. Okay, let's go. No.
No, I was like, I'm gonna trip too because my dress was really long and the ground was sand. So I'm running through sand in a long dress with these two 5-year-old girls like tugging my arms. And I'm like, please don't trip.
Well, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, so I technically was in an old-timey movie. Just didn't have any lines.
If you could, you said you wanted to be in a fantasy one. If you could be in a fantasy type world, what type of one would it want to be? Looking at you, I would guess Harry Potter.
Yes.
You look like you'd want to be one of the wizard kids or something in the school.
Oh my god, I was obsessed with Harry Potter when I was a kid. But I mean, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Fantastic Beasts series, if they asked me to be in it, I would totally, in a second.
Naturally. I didn't really like the Fantastic Beasts films either. I
like the first one, but the second one is, don't watch the second one. It'll make you mad.
Yeah,
if you're a Harry Potter fan, don't watch it.
Like I didn't like the first one because I thought it was so bland, boring, weird. It just wasn't any. I understand what they were doing. They had a scene where the rhino was almost trying to get them, like he's horny. Like what?
I mean, I really like Eddie Redmayne as an actor. I thought he was really good casting. But yeah,
was that the fatter guy?
No, he plays the main guy. He plays Newt.
Or Newt. Okay.
Yeah, I really like him, and I do like that guy too. He's also really good. And I mean, I like the characters, but I don't enjoy the story that much. And then the second one is just so much worse. And then J.K. Rowling just started retconning her story.
Oh yeah,
and it's awful.
We all love retcons, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, like with the first one, I hated how they had it set in America. That just.
But I was like, oh, that means I have a chance. It's set in America.
For me, I just felt like the setting fit so perfectly in like a British type of setting, and then we'll go to America. Oh no, not America. And it's like it doesn't make any. Yeah. The whole plot it can start to not make sense to me when his suitcase isn't staying together, but they're wizards. You can't.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense like at all.
And I thought the designs of the creatures were very uncreative, personally. Like when they say, I really was expecting more. I guess they had a rat with like an infinite pouch, an invisible sloth.
Yeah, it's like a platypus sort of thing.
Yeah, and I just thought they were so uncreative. But it's like the idea, I think, is fine. Like the title, "Fantastic Beasts," sounds good, and I kind of thought the gist was going to be when I saw the trailer for the first time, I thought the gist was going to be like, okay, the government or something, the wizard, whatever's want to get rid of these creatures because there's been too many deaths in the wizard forest or something. I still don't understand how that works. Like, do they have a wizard in Africa? I have no idea. Like in China, I have no idea. Okay, so they're going to maybe wipe out these creatures or they're going to, thin their numbers or something. And this guy is going to go out and he's going to try to round them up. So, Noah's Ark type thing or something. With wizards, why not? Or he's got or there's some type of wizard poachers. I don't know. Something where you get to see the animals, you get to see some type of big conflict, and it's, in the setting where the beasts would be, where you'd find them, not in a city where there's an American Wizard Congress, and and they try to sentence you to death because a thing you might have released might have killed somebody, but you keep mass murderers alive, and it was very weird.
Yeah. The script, it isn't very good. They just pretty much took the title of this encyclopedia that J.K. Rowling wrote and decided to just keep milking the franchise because why not?
No, I don't even remember the female character that was in it. Who was she? What'd she do? She was just kind of there.
I don't even remember what her name is.
What'd they call the Muggles in America?
No matches. Oh, that's so stupid.
I hate that. This does not roll off the tongue at all. Muggle, it's simple. It's there. It sounds.
And I don't really like how they explained. Oh, these are the American houses, and this is the American school. I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
See, I liked the way they had it. I liked the school setting that they chose in the original one. I liked the town setting. It's Britain. It just seemed to fit. Over here, it's like it just doesn't seem right. And like I was never the biggest Harry Potter fan, but I still appreciate what it does for what it like established. And one of the main things they do is enunciation when they cast a spell. And they would always, say this kind of goes into later too, how everybody's able to swap wands, which they kind of made it seem like only one person can use the wand. Like it chooses you, and you're the only one. But
and then in like the Fantastic Beasts movies, they like don't even say spells anymore. They're just like, there you go.
They literally just why not it just be guns at this point? Like why not?
They pretty much they make the wands guns pretty much. There's like a shootout with wands.
Or it's like Dragon Ball pretty much. You just shoot out a beam and you teleport fight.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It doesn't look good on live action. Like maybe if this was a cartoon, that those scenes would look cool. But aren't they supposed to cast this? Aren't they supposed to be thinking about what they're going to cast, what they're going to do, how can they use the surroundings to defeat their enemy or something? Like I kind of thought there was more of a quick pace. What's my knowledge of spells and what can I do around here to defeat my enemy? But then they
pew, pew, pew. They barely say any spells in the new one, and there's a lot of. What I didn't like about the second Fantastic Beasts movie is that they had so many new things that they introduced that would have been helpful in the Harry Potter series.
I actually
that
didn't see the second one, but you can spoil it for me. I don't care. Anybody in the chat, that was out like a year ago. Spoilers don't matter.
I mean, I'm not gonna really spoil it very much, but like, there's one scene in the movie that doesn't make any sense at all, and it's Newt is trying to find, the girl from the first movie, and so he comes to this place. He has this powder, and he just like blows it, and he can see events from the night before, and I'm like,
what?
That's something you can use in like.
They could have used
that.
They could have used that in any situation, in any of the moments, in any of the old Harry Potter films.
I know. It's like, where did this come from?
Who manipulated the Goblet of Fire? Oh, that guy.
I literally watched a video where they're like, "Yeah, where was Sirius Black here? Who put the name in the Goblet of Fire?"
Right. Did Harry use the Patronus charm without there being a Death Eater or something? Oh shit, there was one already there. Cool. Did he see Lord? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was like the dumbest part of the movie.
Yeah, I feel like they try to go for more flashy show and go, look how cool this effect is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I'm like, you're trying to impress Harry Potter fans, but we're already here watching it. You don't need to impress us. We already know.
By now, I'd say they need to get us invested into the characters and story more than the effects of what they're doing.
Yeah. Because we're already super used to it. You can't impress us more.
I feel like the first one hardly had any of that, really. I mean, they showed a thing levitate. They showed some things move. Like, they didn't really do that. They did really low-budget stuff in the first one. So
no, the second one is, like, the opposite. It's so bad. Yeah, don't watch it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, but yeah, okay. If we were going to continue talking about Harry Potter, we should change the subject. We'll change it in a sec. I was just briefly walking in on somebody watching the first Harry Potter, and I had so many things come into my head when Harry and Ron were in trouble, and they have to go into the forest with Draco and Hagrid and the dog, and I'm like, so many of this doesn't make any sense. They're like, okay, so you guys were out late. Okay, so you guys were outside at night in the dark, and it's dangerous out there. Your detention is you're going to go outside in the dark where it's dangerous out there.
I think I saw like I read something about that same thing. It's like, yeah, you got detention for being out late. Let's bring you out into the forest where it's dangerous.
Yeah, well, and it's like then they're like, oh, there's the unicorns, and unicorns have these special blood that makes you immortal. Right next door? What? And then they have the centaurs. They're like, oh yeah, don't mess with those guys. They're just like in the forest right there. I don't know. It's just kind of like.
I mean, they do tell them at the feast, the forest is forbidden, so that's why they're
forbidden forest, and then they send you into detention in there.
Yeah, that's a bad plot hole.
I guess, but like I wouldn't nitpick it much though. It's like it's just kind of a funny thing, I guess. It was a good scenes.
It's not that bad, but yeah, There are so many really funny Harry Potter like Tumblr stuff and memes. Like some things that just like don't make sense, but it's just so fun to read.
he's got a spidey sense, Harry. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, he can't sense these beforehand. It's like,
there's a lot of them where Harry, it's like Harry is really stupid. He's like acts on his impulses.
Yeah, well, and it's like his scar will like hurt as soon as they're right in front of him. He'll go, "Ow, danger!" Yes, no shit. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was switching it up though from Harry Potter to Star Wars. What do you think about Star Wars? Did you grow up with it? Do you like the current ones? It's okay if you do. You don't have to be afraid. But what do you think? Star Wars history.
I mean, I grew up with the prequels, and so I think those might have been the first ones I saw. I think I saw all of them in theaters, and of course, I really liked them. And then later on, I don't remember when I saw the originals, but of course, I like the whole universe. I'm not like a super fan, but I still enjoy them. And it's funny, when they announced that they were going to make more Star Wars movies, I was really against it because I'm like, oh no, don't ruin it. And then I saw The Force Awakens and I really liked it. I really liked The Force Awakens, except I was spoiled by a freaking kid who said I was in an acting class, and then it had just came out, and I had planned on seeing it like a few days after that, and then a kid in acting class was just like, "Hey guys, Han Solo dies," and I'm like, "Why would you say that?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe he's just bluffing." And then I saw it in the movie, and I'm like, oh, "Okay."
Well, it's like the way it's more the way he dies that sucks. It's like, yeah, he dies, yeah, but the way he dies was so bitter. Just like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I mean, okay, so we don't have to get too big into Star Wars, like the sequels or anything, I guess. But yeah. So a lot of people here are huge Star Wars fans. So, but we'll change the subject actually, because
I can say, like, when I saw The Last Jedi, when I first watched it, I was like, "There's something wrong with it." I had like a really weird feeling, and I just couldn't put my hand on it. And then, like, watching people's videos, I realized that, yeah, it was a really badly written movie.
Yeah, I agree. But like, I guess I don't want to. Whenever I bring up Star Wars, for some reason, The Last Jedi always becomes like the main conversation. So I'm going to change the subject.
Yeah, I just wanted to put my input on what I thought about that movie.
That's fine. Yeah, it's like I've talked about it so much with people.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like even when I don't, like when I go into somebody else's stream, they're talking about it. I'm like, oh no, not again.
I remember, like, when I'm going on Odin streams, and people would always bring it up, and I'm like, stop bringing it up.
Yeah,
You've
it's
talked it out. There's nothing else to talk about.
It's right. I'm like, the well has been dried out for weeks and months.
Yeah.
It's done. I'm moving on. I'm good. I don't hate it. I don't need to keep on talking about it. Like, I don't like it. Don't need to talk about it no more. I'm done. But so, have you met any celebrities?
I have. Let me see. I guess technically, if you would call my former boss a celebrity, I mean, she was a professional actress. She still is. I'm not gonna say who she is because I don't really. I kind of want to keep that private for her.
Okay.
But she's been an actor since she was a kid, and she's been in a lot of stuff.
Drew Barrymore. No, it's kidding.
No. And then I did meet Quentin Tarantino one time. It was here in New Orleans. He was a grand marshal of a parade, which is kind of like their special guest. And a lot of the big parades here during Mardi Gras, they have like a ball, like a big sort of gala sort of thing. And I'd never been to one. And this was when I was in college. And my friend was like, "Hey, I have an extra ticket. Do you want to come?" And I already knew that Quentin Tarantino was like the special guest. And I'm like, "Oh, heck yeah, I want to come." And so I got to like dress up and everything. And you kind of bring your own drinks and food, and you just kind of hang out. But you're like dressed all nice, but you just hang out pretty much. And then it's in a huge convention center. And then the parade comes in. And I remember I just like took a bunch of pictures on my phone of him. And then once he passed, I'm like, well, that was just stupid. You should have just been in the moment and just watched. And so I'm like, well, no, I'm never going to see him again. That was just dumb. And so we go back to our table. And then my friend's like, he has to get off somewhere. And we're like, okay. So we like try to look for where his float was. And then there's like this big VIP section in the middle of the convention center, and there's raised and there's ropes around it. And so we're like, okay, maybe he's in there. We're just kind of walking around. And so we see him, and he's having a conversation with somebody, but he's like right up against the ropes. Okay. And so we like get behind him, but we're just like waiting for him to finish his conversation. And then we see the other guy walk away. And I'm like, "Mr. Tarantino, I'm such a huge fan of yours. I love your work." And he's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then he like shook my hand, and he shook my friend's hand, and I was like, I freaked out. But yeah.
That's awesome.
He's really cool. He was really nice and approachable.
See, I want to ask you too, from doing that, a lot of people try to get like selfies right away with the celebrities that they meet. Now,
Yeah,
would you think that's more enjoyable than actually just meeting them in the moment as it was, have it go as it did, and then go away? Or, oh, here, let me capture this with you, or, or...
Yeah, I actually try not to take pictures with celebrities because I don't want them to make them feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of weird. Like if somebody would come up to me and want to take a picture with me, I would find that kind of weird.
Yeah,
I find it less personal, I guess, because I really want it to be like, hey, I love your movies. I want you to know how much I love your movies. It's not like, oh, you're a celebrity, let me take a picture with you.
Right. I feel like people, when they do that, when they specifically ask, can I take pictures with you? I mean, like, okay, it may seem like a nice gesture, but if anything, it's really just to show other people that you met them. And it's like, is that all you care about? Showing other people that you met them? Or do you want to actually just meet them for you?
Yeah. And I see that. Yeah. And when I was on Queen Sugar, there's the other girl in my scene who had lines. She was taking pictures with everybody in the cast. And I'm like, well, maybe I should do that. But then I'm like, no, again, I don't want to be that person. It makes me seem less professional if I did that.
Yeah, I feel like if somebody's taking a picture or they ask to, or if they're like, hey, you want to take a picture with me? Okay, sure.
Yeah, if they ask, absolutely. I would feel weird going up to somebody and asking for a picture.
Yeah,
I want to look as like professional as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like, I haven't actually met an actual actor or anything or somebody super famous, but Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers was the biggest YouTube channel that I talked to back when I had like 200 subs, and he let me onto his 24-hour live stream, and I was on there for a while. But like, I was gonna, in my mind, I'm like, oh, should I ask him if he wants to do this sometime or do this and that? And I'm like, no, just do the stream. Keep it cool and all that, and don't ask for anything. Just do the stream. Don't be stupid like that. And I've talked with him many times since then. I feel a lot really good that I didn't like ask him for favors or something, or hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Like the most I've asked is if he would do like a birthday video for Ivan Ortega. I asked a lot of people to do that pretty much. So like, hey, you can do like 15 seconds, do a happy birthday video, I'll do a compilation, and then boom. So.
Oh, that's really nice.
Stuff like that. Thanks. Yeah, I try to on my channel. I do lots of different things, and one of them is I try to highlight YouTubers that I really like. And Ivan Ortega is one of the ones, mostly because of his film aspect. Really, it's not even really his YouTube channel. It's the fact that, like with his Star Wars re-edit that he's trying to do, the fact that he takes the time to try to do his own choreography for Kylo Ren. Like that's really good. The amount of detail that he tries to put into the way that he edits and stuff, and when he's doing the choreography, he wants it to be one shot, like if he can. So you got to try it again and again and again and again, and that's tiring. He said, like with the crossblade lightsaber, it's like really hard to spin properly without like hitting yourself. So you have to like move it and then twist it and rotate. So your wrist is doing like 5 extra movements than a normal. So it's like in
a stage for combat class, we had to do like exercises with our wrists, and it would be very hard, but yeah, it's a lot of wrist movement with sword fighting. Yeah,
so I feel like there's a lot of dedication that goes with that and passion. And now that I saw Kill Bill for the first time recently, like I feel like some of the stuff that she was doing, it kind of feels like that, where she's like doing the punches on the thing just like real quick, and then like to when she was like her arms were so sore and her hands were so sore she could barely use chopsticks to like pick up her food. It's like, damn, that's hard work, and like that's the kind of stuff I love to see on there, especially. Speaking of choreography, so do you see yourself doing action type roles in the future? Like right now, you said you're playing some younger type of characters, but do you ever want to be in a role where you're doing like a lot of action, running, fast-paced thriller, or something?
I'm pretty much open to anything. Yeah, I would like to try a bunch of different things. I think action would be really fun. I don't know about dangerous stunts. I'm not going to be Tom Cruise. Well, I'm not risking my life.
You're not going to jump out of airplanes or do anything.
Yeah.
But it's all grounded. but it requires like, lots of fight choreography and lots of, training. Like to do the role, you have to get into a certain type of shape and learn all these different moves and choreography and everything. Like, would you do those types of roles? Like that seems, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like it would be really fun to learn something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, I could see you, like I said, the Old West as one type of role. You fit the wizard type of role as well. And like I was trying to see, like you could kind of fit some type of medieval setting with swordsman or swordswoman,
Yeah.
something like maybe. Like you'd be the type of one that doesn't want to do it at first, but you lost something, and then you gotta try to train to get revenge or something. Okay.
Oh yeah, I would definitely do something like that.
That'd be cool. Have you ever seen Spartacus? No, I asked you that.
The old one?
No, the
show. No, I have not seen the TV show. I've seen the old movie though.
Right. The TV show is nothing like the old movie.
I'm sure it's not.
I would say this is similar to Game of Thrones, but not exactly. It's similar as in there's a lot of sex, gore, drama, violence. It's sword and sandals, gladiator type thing, and whatnot. So I mean, it's good on those sense. And I love seeing that one because the directors of the show, the writers of the show, were saying that they. Part of their idea for why they used Spartacus as the type of movie they wanted to do, like the setting, the Third Israeli War, was because they wanted a way to incorporate wrestling moves in an older setting and have like a Han Solo mixed with Hercules type characters. And they had all these weird ideas for things they wanted. And then they looked at what they could apply it to. And then they, worked from there to do the story and characters for Spartacus.
That's interesting.
In the show, you'll see lots of moments where like their sword got out of their hands, so they like do a head, like a leg grab to the head, twist, grab the other guy's arm, boom, and twist their head off, like just weird submission moves that like you wouldn't see. You wouldn't think they'd be doing this in those times. But these guys,
I mean, they might have. You don't know.
Maybe, but it's like it seems like okay, instead of just doing a regular punch to your face, like no, and just like looks like a Black Widow type move almost, but less elegant, but still, like they do really good on that. And I don't know, like the way that they do their sword stuff too, like their movements, like the workouts for it. Holy crap! Like, people thought the 300 workout was hard for like Gerard Butler and stuff. This stuff looks like it would be harder to keep up because it's got to be for this many seasons, and they're pretty much shirtless the whole time, so they can't hide their fat.
They want to have people see like how the results.
They can't really hide their fat that much. Only sometimes they might wear a cloak or some armor, but usually they're just pretty much in the cloth or whatever while they fight. But it's like, so that's a dedication to the workout. Holy crap! Okay. So we've been going for a good hour and a half, actually. Wow, that flew by.
I know. Wow.
I only had half my questions so far. Okay, so let's talk about movies coming out this year. Ones that you're excited for. We already talked about It 2 earlier. What about, and we already said neither of us have seen John Wick at all yet.
No.
What are your thoughts on Toy Story 4?
I have a feeling it's not going to be that good. I don't think it's going to be that good.
I agree.
think it's just, I have had a weird feeling in the trailers, and I thought the third one was a perfect ending. I really think they're just milking it, and I feel like it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I have the same exact thoughts. I mean, for me, I'm like, why do they need to keep on continuing stuff? Can you just let it end and let us miss it and accept it as, yes, wasn't that a good series? And then call it a night. Like, you don't need to know any more backstory. You don't need to see a sequel continuation of the story. It's done. It's done. Call it a solid trilogy, history for film, and you're good. Nope.
Yeah,
add more to it and ruin the thing. And okay, great. Even if it turns out to be good, I just don't even like that they're making it.
Yeah. When they announced it, I'm like, why? Why do you need another one?
It's like you had 3. Well, how many characters of the other ones will they even have now? Like 3.
Well,
The original.
they're making like new characters too, like that Spork character, and how it's going to be kind of like existential in a way, and it's like it's kids.
What arcs can these toys go through now?
Yeah, like they fulfilled their arcs in the third one, so
I feel like that was a satisfying end, and it's like, okay, yeah, they moved on to, the kid grew up and gave it to a new kid. Cool.
yeah.
Which I think most kids would sometimes keep their favorite ones in the attic forever, but for
yes, I mean, I'm gonna go see it just to see what they do with it, but I already have my expectations low.
They might get subverted. No.
I never want to hear that phrase again.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean. With Toy Story, did you hear about the Pixar theory?
Yeah, there's some holes in that though. Not all of it fits. It's interesting though how somebody was able to come up with that though.
Well, it's complicated, I think, because of all the Disney films. Like, I think if we looked at Pixar by itself, I think that mostly works.
It mostly works, but again, there's some things that don't work. I forget what they are, but I think there's like 1 or 2 holes.
The way they made it sound was like, I forget where it kind of starts, but they have like the Incredibles. It's like the humans start to become superpowers, kind of, and then like the machines in that, the Syndrome one, start to become kind of self-thinking, like the first signs of it. And then at some point they advance a little more, and they end up taking over the Earth and get destroyed. And there's Wall-E or something, and then there's like the car, or like before that, like animals start becoming intelligent, like Finding Nemo and stuff. And then the cars at some point take it while humans are in space, and then they come back, and then like the Bug's Life is the next seed or something. And there's a lot of weird stuff. And then Monsters Inc. is like humans evolved and they're in the future and they need energy and they need to go back in time, and that's what the doors are, is time machines to the past to get their energy or something. They're like, because Boo,
kind of out there.
Boo is the witch in Brave, apparently, because she had a car.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
And her door disappears.
Oh.
And so I'm like, maybe, but I mean, it's kind of fun to think about it. But
yeah, it's like nice theory, but
need something a little more solid to have that.
Yeah.
That like,
some of it is kind of reaching.
Yes. There's also like a Disney theory too, where they're like Tarzan and Frozen and Jane.
Oh, didn't they say that like Tarzan and Frozen were connected?
And they're like the parents of Elsa, like that get destroyed at sea or something, wash up, and then they have a new kid. So like Tarzan would technically be like Elsa's brother or something. And then like that the girl that he meets, Jane, is like Belle's daughter or grandmother or something.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Because they have like the yellow dress theme and they're all fancy schmancy or something. And they had a weird theme with that. I forget what time periods they all take place in, so I'm kind of getting who they would be. Well,
Beauty and the Beast is like the 18th century. Well, it's supposed to be. And then Tarzan, that is, I think that's early 1900s.
Okay, sure. So Mary Jane would be like the daughter, granddaughter, descendant, some kind. Yeah. I like those. I like those types of things where you try to link movies together. There's one theory where they tried to link Pulp Fiction into something else. Forget what.
Oh, I think I might have heard that too. I don't remember what it was either.
I like seeing these types of things.
I think, wasn't it some kid movie though?
Well, no, I think you're thinking of like Home Alone, like is connected to Saw.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
One where Macaulay Culkin's character, as a little kid, grows up to be Jigsaw because of all those traps.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did hear about that. And did you see that little video that they made where Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone grows up and he turns out to be like a huge psycho that murders people?
Yeah.
In like his basement.
Yes. That'd be crazy, but that'd be kind of funny if they make hints to that in the like future movies or something. It's like,
and I like the what was it, that Google Home commercial where they like did the same thing where he grew up and he still like tricks people, but he uses Google Home.
Oh, yep. That's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the TV show that they have in Home Alone was made up just for those scenes, or like the movie?
I think I did hear that. Yeah.
It's like it seems like why would they make just a whole scene just for this movie? I thought they like hey,
they wouldn't have to like it's probably it's cheaper that way. You wouldn't have to pay for the rights to that movie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it seems like you would come up with that whole scenario by seeing it, but they came up with it. So that's more clever points in my opinion. It's like, well, you came up with the Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very quotable.
Yeah, definitely. But are you excited for The Lion King?
I'm not gonna go see The Lion King. If you want to watch The Lion King, you watch The Lion King, the 1994 Lion King. You don't need to see it again.
But is that in the Disney vault?
I mean, it's on TV like all the time on Freeform. They show Disney movies like all the time.
People with cable, really?
I've seen Lion King so many times. I get like, I don't need to see it with different actors, with CGI lions. With like less, like not as good actors, pretty much.
Pretty much. Well, it's like it. Yeah. Why not make a different story? If you're gonna do CGI animals, why not do a different story? Like altogether, because there's no nostalgia.
Yeah, and they're literally. Like I think I said like something about this where with the Disney remakes, the start of it was Cinderella, but it was not the exact remake of the old cartoon. They made it different. Well, they changed the story and they didn't put the same musical numbers in it. That's what made it good.
There's like 20 different versions of Cinderella, I think, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the first time that they remade it, they didn't make it a carbon copy of the original Disney cartoon.
I think most versions were different, actually, from what I remember. Most of them had different elements. They had one black chick back in the day for...
it was a Brandy
or something. I don't even remember what it was. But yeah, there's a lot of different versions back in the day with those. But yeah, I don't know.
And then now they're like, let's literally remake the animated version verbatim. And it's like, no, we don't. Why? What's the point?
People might see it, I guess. I think they want to have I'm going to bring my kid to go see Lion King. But don't they do releases in the theaters every now and then for old time movies?
Yeah, and actually one of my coworkers today was saying that she's going to go take her kids to see Aladdin. And I'm like, well,
why?
Okay. I mean, if you want to see Aladdin, you can. I mean, I'm not going to, because again, you can just watch the original cartoon because it's the exact same thing.
For me, it's not even that they're doing a remake of Aladdin. I feel like you could do something unique with Aladdin because Aladdin is also one of those films that has had like 30 different versions and ones from other countries of the cartoon versions. But like, different countries' attempts at making the same story and whatnot. I've seen all these different versions a little bit, and they're all different and weird in their own way that don't make any sense. But like Will Smith is what threw me off in this because I'm so tired of seeing Will Smith. Like,
he's basically Will Smith as a genie.
Yeah, like I've seen him in so many roles. Like I feel like I've changed more. Like he's been the same. He's the same Will Smith as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but like I've changed. I've seen him enough. I'm kind of done with anything new he's in because he's the same. And it's just
I think he might make like the songs kind of fun, but that's probably it.
Yeah, kind of. But I think it'll be more cringy than fun.
Yeah, you're right. It just depends.
With Robin Williams, you could feel the joy. With Will Smith, he's got that smirk. It's just kind of like, it's not as, I don't know.
He's like, I'm Will Smith and I'm funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm Will Smith, I'm here. What's up, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Like some type of line.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they'll do that in the movie. I don't know. We got Brandon Moist in the chat. What's up, buddy? Yep. Do you know Brandon Moist?
No, I don't.
I
think that's an interesting name.
His whole meme started on World Class Bullshitters, Like send a super chat or something, and they're like Brandon Moist, and he was like, "That's my real name," and then that became.
I'm so sorry.
Became a huge meme on his channel. He changed his channel's name to Moist Visions Inc., which I like that name. That's awesome. And yeah, it's just funny history with that. He's got a good rising YouTube channel coming up. And then we got Random Nerd of Doom here. What's up? This is Greta Zehner. We've been talking for a good hour and a half, just flown by. Like, wow, this is seriously feels like the fastest ever.
Yeah, no, I was like, it's been like what, 10 minutes? Oh no!
It feels like we started. Seriously, I thought usually I fill the room with like 4 guests. Like I'll have one special guest and a couple other people with it. But like I like that sometimes, but more with like repeating guests, not brand new ones anymore. Because then too many people take away from the guest, and then we end up not talking about much. So
yeah,
this is pretty good. This is good. So I was gonna say in general, what's your opinion on trailers in general? Because I've been having this annoyance with trailers, but then some hints of, and like I'm glad that they do something. Like in the Avengers trailers, they've been doing things where they like put something in there that isn't going to be in the film, but then there's other ones where they put stuff in there that spoils the movie. Like what's your trailer?
I don't like trailers that obviously show literally the entire movie. But I also, that weird thing that they've been doing lately where there's a trailer before the trailer.
Oh, I hate that too.
Like, what's the point of that? Like, how did that become a thing? That's like every single trailer now.
I feel like that's a mistake. Like that they are like, okay, we got it all edited. We got the whole trailer done, but they forgot to just click delete on that first part or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they like copied it to put somewhere else and they just left that in on accident. And they go, okay, go in here, whatever, boom, the title. And then it starts again. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like, okay, I watched 2 seconds of that. No, I don't want to watch the rest of this trailer.
I mean, I guess that's supposed to be.
I don't understand the point of that.
If you're in a hurry and you only got 5 seconds to see the trailer, I guess that's it for you. And then,
or literally, like it's like 3 seconds.
And then after you leave,
that's all I really need. I just those 3 shots. Cool.
I don't know, but like, what's your opinion? So, like, I heard a lot of people or different opinions on trailers, and what some of them are basically they want to show you just enough to entice you. Other trailers want to show you basically the whole story so that you know that you want to go see it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard especially when you want like to have some sort of twist or something at the end. And I feel like some movies like show it and you're like, well, why did you show it? Now I'm not going to enjoy watching the movie.
Spider-Man.
Wait, which Spider-Man are you talking about?
Far From Home. You see that trailer?
The second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the one that came out after Endgame, the trailer.
Actually, I don't know if I watched it. I saw some.
They say a lot of things that kind of spoil what happens in the movie, and it's kind of like, well, you kind of get the gist of the movie already just from the trailer.
Yeah, and I hate trailers that put things in there as like a twist in the trailer to make you interested. But I'm like, well, you just put the twist in the trailer to make the trailer interesting, but then now why would you want to go see the movie?
Yeah,
like certain lines and something.
Some people, I've learned this too, that some people don't want to go see a movie if they like do a normal teaser where they don't show that much. They'll go, well, I don't know what happens, so I'm not going to go see it. That's the logic. So they want to see more of what happens in the movie to then go, I'm going to go see that in the movie. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get that, but like, I don't know, with my mind, like last year was when I really tried to go see new movies, like go out of my way to see movies that I wouldn't think to go see. Like I saw, I only saw a few sequels and ones that I know of that year. Like, of course, Deadpool, Incredibles, the ones I know of, yeah. But then I also saw Hotel Artemis, Annihilation, a couple of the other ones, the Hitman's Bodyguard. I'm forgetting some of the movies that came out, but they were all very 5 out of 10 to me. Death Wish, like they were all not bad, and I guess some of them are remakes and sequels to things, but I never knew of them, so I don't really count them as a remake for me because I never saw the other ones before. And I just I was like, okay, I'm going to see something original or different that I am not familiar with. They were all like 5 out of 10s. 12 Strong was one too. That one, it's like a good like historical thing with 9/11, but it's just kind of Chris Hemsworth on a horse here and there, and in a different country, and it's kind of sad a little. And okay,
it's funny. There's actually like last year, the trailer for Bad Times at the El Royale. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this movie doesn't look that interesting. And it's another one of those trailers where they give you a twist in the trailer. And so I'm like, I'm going to skip it. And then Odin was like, this movie's so good, you need to see it. And so I watched it, and it's an amazing movie. And it's one of those things where the trailer didn't look interesting, but then the movie was fantastic. So it's like, it's really hard to trust a trailer, really, sometimes.
True. I agree. Yeah. It's like I want to judge the trailer and then go, okay, that's how the movie's going to go. But then I don't know. It's hard to tell. You really can't trust a trailer.
Yeah, because it's not really like the people making the movie who are making the trailers. It's the marketing department.
True. I mean, they'll cut up whatever's in the movie any way they want to try to get you to see it.
Yeah.
I remember when they tried to show the Mummy, the 2017 Mummy one, that trailer. That one was kind of a mess, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I knew that movie was going to be really bad and looked really stupid.
Luckily, in my theater, I was on a date, and there was nobody else in the theater. And it was like, the second day after it came out.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And nobody was there. And so we were just the only ones in there. So I was just giving commentary as we were playing. I so wish I could have recorded it. It was hilarious. And there's like, okay, I'm like, there's going to be a jump scare now. And they do. I'm like, okay, this is really, really lame. Really lame. They have Tom Cruise try to act serious. And I'm like, I'm laughing my butt off here at his acting right now. I don't know if it's his fault, but like I appreciate the guy, I respect him as an actor, but then there's like moments where they make him try to sound like Tony Stark, kind of like with quips, and I'm like, do not work for you, Tom. Those or whatever moment you're doing it's not funny. It's just not funny. It's
I guess he's not really a comedic sort of guy. He's just very like serious.
Like his I think it depends on who he plays off of. Like the people
that
he
is
off
true
of.
Because what was it, Tropic Thunder, he was really funny in that because he was playing something so different from himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and I think it's the reactions that he gets from the other people around him when he's around actors. It doesn't seem to mesh very well with his acting. Especially since he's a stunt guy, basically. He's an extremely good stuntman actor.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost want his story of acting to be, I was a stuntman for James Bond, and then like James Bond, the guy who played him got injured, so I had to film the rest of it and not do all the stunts myself and act and stuff. And then that's when he became Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible and all that. That'd be an origin of his acting history.
Yeah.
Random Nerd of Doom says, would Tom Cruise make a good Tony Stark?
No. Nobody would make a good Tony Stark other than Robert Downey Jr.
I'm glad you agree. I do think that there could be people that could play an Iron Man. Not sure about Tony Stark. Tony Stark, Robert Downey is the embodiment of Tony Stark. Yeah,
like everyone says he is Tony Stark, and Tony Stark is him.
Did you know how Tom Cruise was almost Tony Stark?
Really?
You don't know? Oh, in auditioning, their Marvel was in such a pinch of their like production and everything. They were like almost bankrupt and about to go broke completely with everything. Sell off their characters again to people. They just got their characters back enough to where they could make the Avengers movie, maybe. So they tried to push Iron Man, and they're like, should we get an actor that's really well known in the spotlight right now? Which in the 2000s, that was Tom Cruise. Was one of the popular faces, and Robert Downey at the time had his, he just recovered from his like alcoholic and whatever stuff he was dealing with, and Tony Stark has that trait. So I don't know if that's all that pretty much meshed with it or not, but like he really just embodied it with his own experience is Tony Stark practically.
Exactly. Yeah, they just made the right decision
at the right time too. At the right time. Think if they tried to make it earlier, if they tried to make Iron Man earlier or later.
Yeah.
Like, think if they tried to launch the MCU now.
Oh my god.
That would not be pretty.
No, it wouldn't.
I'm trying to think
I
about.
mean, technically, they are kind of relaunching it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we've seen it before now, so there's that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think about where cinema would be right now without the Avengers, without the MCU and their style of the way they made their movies. How different other movies would have been, like The Mummy, for example, in the DC universe and all that. If they would have done it different, or if they would have done it all in a different approach with Marvel and the X-Men and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes me think about like the Hobbit movies as well. If they had never fired Guillermo del Toro, how those movies would have turned out. Probably actually good.
Probably. So what do you feel about The Hobbit, since you brought that up? Do you think there should have been 1 or 2 movies, or?
Well, there's a really good documentary sort of series by Lindsay Ellis on YouTube, and she goes into detail about the pre-production and all of the stuff that happened that nobody really knows about. And it's now people can understand why it was such, like, it really didn't live up to the standards of Lord of the Rings, because like the work that was put into it, like Guillermo del Toro was supposed to be the director, and it's supposed to be 2 movies, and he put in 18 months of work, and for some reason they fired him and threw away all of his work.
What?
And they made Peter Jackson come in. He did not want to do it. He really did not want to direct it, but they were like, you have to come back. And so he was like, fine. And so they just put together things really quickly.
So that's why it feels half-assed watching it.
Yeah, so they put things together really quickly, and apparently like there's some actors who like got into costume and then they just didn't film that day because they were doing pre-production as they were filming, pretty much. And why it was such a huge mess.
Oh man, wow.
And it's like, yeah, it could have been so much better.
See, what I loved about the Lord of the Rings was, the movies themselves are good, but I loved the innovations in filming that they did around the Lord of the Rings. Like the amount of time it took, what they did. In early high school, this was before I was interested in film, I decided to take it was some type of video production class, which I was not interested in at the time, but I remember vaguely what we went over, and we were watching behind the scenes stuff from Lord of the Rings, because our assignment was to make sound effects to insert over another clip, and they're like showing the tentacle monsters scene and its sound effects, and they show the behind the scenes of them like having a plunger and like going to certain different ponds or areas in a forest to try to get different plunging noises, different things to make suction sounds and whatever things in the air and the echoes to record, and like that's just for that noise. And then like they went to a whole football stadium and asked everybody to stomp and chant and do that to make the sounds of their 10,000 army going. And it's like all this effort to make your thing look good. And for the sound of the arrows, that was a long process for them to get the right sound, because you just goes, or it goes, like you had to get like really good audio passing speed, velocity, and whatever's around to get the wind sound. And like that alone is a lot of work. So like I really was able to start appreciating film more from that. And to hear The Hobbit just be like, whatever. Yeah, it's so disappointing.
Yeah. Like I feel bad for Peter Jackson because he like did not want to do it. He's kind of forced into it. And so it wasn't really a passion project for him anymore. He just wanted to like get it over with.
Yeah, if you don't feel passion for it, then it's not going to be good no matter what it is. I feel. I mean, if you really don't care about what you're doing with it, then it's not usually going to be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Hobbit films to me are just unwatchable now. I mean, there's things in it that are still good, I think. But overall, I can't visually concentrate because it just looks so bizarre visually, especially Battle of the Five Armies. I hated that so much.
Oh, yeah. I did not like the last movie like at all.
They're just sitting around, and then when the armies are clashing, it looks so ridiculous. I'm like, it's
so much obvious CGI. It's almost like watching a cartoon.
Yeah, which was disappointing because, like, back in the day, I wasn't even aware of how much CGI they used in the original Lord of the Rings films. Now I
Yeah,
can
it's
kind of
mostly
I can see it now, but it blends so well that it's like I would barely notice. It's not distracting at all. It blends in well. Like even when she chops off the dragon's head, the Nazgul or whatever its head, like that looked kind of realish, like as if it
yeah.
chopped
And
something's
they
head off.
actually like made costumes for the orcs in The Hobbit. They just made them all CGI, and it's so obvious.
Yeah, not
It's
good.
just like not no.
I think you froze up. I think you froze up for a sec because I'm not hearing anything. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. Oh, Lethal Lightning's in the chat. His thing always freezes up, so I'm assuming that's what happened right here.
Okay.
Okay, now are you back? Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Now you're back. Yeah, you were frozen. Like that
You were frozen too. I was like, oh no.
Okay. No, it's funny because Lethal Lightning's in the chat now, and his stream's always free, so I feel like he's causing it. He's in Australia. Thanks for freezing my stream, Lethal. But no, but we have some people coming in here. I'm thinking another stream just ended. That's why they're pouring in right now. Oh yeah,
okay.
we got 19K Fox in here, Mega Jetty 1, Orlando Calrissian. Yep.
Oh, Lando.
And he says, "This isn't where I left the lube." It's in the other stream. It's in the other stream, Lando. It's in the other stream, man. Man, this has been fun, though. Yeah, I'd love to have you on again for another stream. This was pretty good.
This is really fun. I really like this. Yeah, I love talking about movies with people.
No problem. Yeah, and I really, like I said, we barely covered the stuff that I had written down here, but we'll do one more. So we'll be going around for it'll round it out at around 2 hours by the time we're done. So how do you feel about the criticisms towards directors, writers, producers, and stuff? Like, especially after Game of Thrones, like you notice a lot of people are blaming the writers for it. And then for same with books, like authors that get their stuff adapted, like, do you feel like criticism toward them is just? Like, we could look at J.K. Rowling, we could look at George R.R. Martin and whatnot, like what's George Lucas, Rian Johnson, all these things. Like, what do you think about criticism toward the filmmakers and writers and stuff?
Well, it's looking at their intention. Like, again, with Game of Thrones and J.K. Rowling, especially, for Game of Thrones, obviously for this season, they tried to hurry it up so they can start working on their new project. And they just decided not to put any of the work in that they have been for years, which is why this season sucks so much. And the reason why the new Fantastic Beasts movie sucks so much is because J.K. Rowling is just milking her franchise and trying to come up with quick ideas to keep milking her series. And it's the lack of passion and the lack of work ethic that makes things not good. And they don't realize that audiences can tell when you don't put the work in. And it's really frustrating. And I love the fact that Dan and Dave are like, oh, we're gonna hide with their wives after the finale. And I'm like, well, why are you admitting that? Why are you saying that? Yeah, we're gonna make all the whole fan base mad. Ha ha ha. Why do you want to make your fan base mad? Why don't you want to make your fan base say, wow, what a series. Congratulations. You guys are awesome. I just don't
because
get that mentality.
when people are mad, they talk about it more. And they get angry about it, and then there's the back and forth of people who like it and don't like it. I call it the Rian Johnson technique. It's because he admitted that in one of his really old film reel or something, where he's like, I want my audience, I want half of it to love the film and half of it to hate it. And
that's a stupid thing to do.
That seems to be what they want. Well, because they think that makes better conversation, and then that makes, like, in a way that does make their product last longer. But it doesn't satisfy if you're not looking to satisfy your audience. I don't know. It's like, I understand trying to do your story well, but you also want people that enjoy it to enjoy how it ends. That's how I feel.
Exactly.
Like even if you had your favorite characters get killed, it's got to be the execution and the way they do it. Like, how are we feeling with it? You know, like it would set emotional weight. Like some characters, I kind of wish they'd stop using them in some movies and stuff. I'm like, can I miss them, please? Like, I want them to go so I can miss them and have them
they
not get
bring
ruined
people
anymore.
back, and so their death doesn't really mean anything anymore. They keep bringing that character back.
Yeah, like that, or if they never die, but they keep on using them. I'm like, their story was done a long time ago. Can you give them some way that I can be satisfied that they're not in this anymore and not ruin them?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish. 19K Fox says the criticism is valid as long as it's accurate, and they seem to be agreeing with that. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just trying to see different angles here because ever since The Last Jedi has come out, it seems like everybody does criticize them, which I'm among them who criticizes a lot of things now. But but we also like to place blame on okay, was it the director? Was it the writer? Was it whichever? Who do we place the blame on? And I'm not really sure who we can always blame.
I don't think there's always just one person you can blame, really.
Yeah.
So for instance, let's look at the last episode of Game of Thrones. What was really good about it was the acting, the cinematography. You can look at that and say, wow, that is amazing, great job. But then you're like, okay, what's bad about it? The writing and some of the shots and some of the editing. So you can say, hey, okay, the editor didn't do such a great job doing this. And then also whoever wrote this is obviously, the writer is a really big thing in a story because that's the base of any film or television show. It starts with the writing. And that's why a lot of people are really angry about the writing. And, but also, well, I guess it's different with Game of Thrones because the director doesn't have that much control over it. Film director is different. They have much more control about what goes into the film.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering about with the Game of Thrones writers, because everybody calls them the writers. I'm like, but they're not the directors, so what?
They are the showrunners, though, which kind of makes them the directors of the entire series because they have so much control over it. But the director of the episode, they just have control over how the episode is produced, I guess. They don't really have control over the writing. They have to go to the showrunners to change something. I don't really know this for sure, but that's what it kind of seems to me. And so they can, the director, they can hire their cinematographer, they can hire the people that they want for the episode. But I don't think the director has any sort of input on the writing.
Okay.
Unless the showrunners direct an episode, which I think they do. They direct the finale. Which will be interesting.
Oh yeah, that's coming up just a couple days away. It's a couple days away.
I didn't want to hear any leaks, but then people, like to spoil other people, and I heard one thing, and I'm like, oh my god, if that happens, that would just be the dumbest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
I really don't want to hear the leaks at all, but there's just one thing that I heard, and because people keep repeating it, and I'm like, that please don't let that be real. But they've been saying, oh, the leaks have been true so far. And I'm like, oh,
no. What's funny about Game of Thrones is I've only watched, I don't even know if I watched the full first season, maybe even half of it. I don't even know. And then I just kind of wasn't into it, really. I was just kind of like, this is taking a while for me to care about anything. And everybody's like, oh, it gets better, though. And I'm like, I just don't have the time to invest in that. It's hour-long episodes. It's you got to really sit down and watch them to get what's going on, kind of. So I just haven't really watched them. But now that everybody's has all these issues with it, now I'm kind of curious to see how the show is, from the beginning, to see where it might fall, but to also see the good parts, because everybody's bragged about it, nothing but bragging about it for the last 7 years. So
yeah, I started watching it after season 4, and I knew a lot of people liked it, but I was also spoiled with a lot of big things that happened in the show. So when I watched it on my own, I was like, oh, well, I knew this was coming because people have spoiled it because it's been out for a few years. But yeah, there are seasons where it is kind of slow, especially Daenerys' storyline gets kind of slow at some point. But then there are a lot of highlights in every season. They're just like, wow, that's just great filmmaking.
How many characters are in this show? Because it seems like there's so many.
Oh no, there's a time where I'm just like, there's a bunch of characters. I don't know what their names are.
Without knowing any of them other than maybe Dinklage and Daenerys and Jon Snow or something, like they're saying all these names. What about the Lamora thing? What about Jamie? What about Caesar? And
oh no, there used to be so many more characters.
They named the names of dragons or something. I'm like, they have names? And then I'm like, okay, but they act like they're like in the show as a person or something. And then there's other names, and I'm like, what the hell has happened since season 1? Because now I'm really curious, because in season 1 it seemed like it was just kind of a normal medieval type of world with maybe a little bit of mysticism with it, but then it's like, okay, jump to season 8. There's dragons, there's things that move, creatures, zombies, all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. And what made the show good was that they slowly introduced all these things, and then season 8 just crapped all over it.
Oh yeah. So I will be very late by the time I catch up to all this when it comes through.
My coworker, I think the first episode of the season premiered, and he's like, I'm gonna binge watch the entire 7 seasons, and then I'll meet you for the finale. And I'm like, all right, you can do that. So he watched like 5 episodes a day, and then he finally caught up.
Season 1 is
and now
10
he's ready
episodes.
for the finale.
Season 1 is 10 episodes, I think, and each episode's an hour each. So 10 hours per season. Like, that's a lot of time. That's a
Yeah, he said he was like watching multiple episodes a day, trying to catch up.
Oh my gosh. I remember like when I graduated from high school, there was like that brief time before I went to college and had a job where, yeah, I could binge watch a whole series in a week. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, since then.
Yeah, I remember when I used to binge watch series. For some reason, I can't get into series anymore to binge watch. I get bored really easily.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to stay as invested, or you like certain things and then you don't, or things seem predictable and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of want to have the option to watch it later. I'm like, I watched a few episodes. Let's wait a year. We'll often pick it up later.
Yeah,
like,
and especially now when I binge watch, I'm like, I could be doing something better than just laying in my bed with my computer and watching this for 5 hours.
I feel you on that. It's hard for me to focus just sitting and watching. Like I have to be in like a theater and just sit and watch. If I'm at home, I can't just sit and watch. I have to be writing. I have to be doing something with my hands. I have to be doing something. I can't just sit and, yep, I'm here. Yep.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I'm like putting in a DVD and I'm like, okay, I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, I know there's so many distractions in the room, and I'm thinking about them. So the theater, you're like in a seat, it's dark, you can't go anywhere. All you have to do is watch the movie.
And all you can do is get invested. That's what you're here for, and you can just go. Yeah, at home, no, like I want to clean, or I want to do homework, or work on a video, or something. Yeah, I totally feel you on that. All right, though. So we shall be closing out now. Is there any projects for videos for your channel, or projects in real life that you're trying to look forward to that you can tell people?
I mean, I'm still doing auditions, and I mean, it's starting to pick up more now. But I mean, again, with auditions, it's something that you don't really know, like if you're going to book it or not, or how long it takes for them to get back to you. But usually when you go to an audition, you do it. After you do it and submit it, you forget about it, because it's just going to eat you alive if you keep thinking about it.
Makes sense.
And as far as videos, this week has been like really, really busy. So I think I have an idea for a video, but I haven't really gone into it yet. I'm going to try to have one out beginning of next week. But I still have like a few ideas written down. But I'm wait, excuse me. My mom's bringing my cat in.
Okay.
He
is it the fat, the fluffy kitty?
No, it's my tuxedo cat. He actually had a dental surgery this morning.
Oh yeah, the one with the thing. Yeah.
He got into a fight last night, and one of his fangs got bent, and he had to get it taken out. So now he's missing a tooth, aren't you?
The poor baby.
I know. So he's a little out of it right now, but
Loopy kitty.
But yeah, I was gonna say, I'm also open to anybody else's ideas if they want me to cover any sort of topic. Just let me know.
Okay, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, see, like I'm in a position where like I have like spirals of ideas, but not enough time to do them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the difference between film and theater was one that I wanted to do for a while. Like the history of movie theaters, like from then to now, and like also how they could improve in the future, like how they should improve, like ideas on how we could actually make them better, so people don't go, oh, I don't want to go to movie theater. Streaming versus discs, like the possibility of DVDs still sticking around for a while, even though streaming's catching on. The more streaming services come around, the less people might want to have streaming services. Who knows?
Yeah.
And whatnot. So a bunch of different topics I have in mind. But like for you, yeah, you have a good perspective to do whatever video you do it on. Honestly, I'd say.
So you can see everybody. Hello to my kitty.
Kitty.
He's a little loopy. He's on a lot of antibiotics right now.
Oh, is that why he's letting you hold him?
Yeah, he actually like didn't have his claws out or anything, which is surprising because usually if somebody picks him up, he's like, "No, don't pick me up."
That's my cat exactly. If I pick her up, I try to hold her like a baby because otherwise she really will try to get traction and jump out or something. But she's like, "Human, let the hell go of me now! Don't like to try to move."
Yeah, he tries to latch on to anything because he does not like getting picked up. But yeah, he's a little out of it right now.
Yep. This is my kitty, Chikorita. She always likes to bite things all the time. She's always a little stinker, but she's
oh my god,
she's very weird. She was just sniffing the refrigerator, and I was looking for something to get, and she's like, "Nope, let me go inside." Yeah, look at her. You can barely see her against the ground. Like, it blends in so well. Yeah, she's very, very cute. Yeah, I caught her good, and she's yawning before. Yeah, I call her Chica. I call her Chica for short.
Aww.
Yeah, little cat. This was her. She dug into the hall closet and climbed on top of the towels. And it's like, yeah, this is where I'm sleeping, dude. What do you think?
Yeah, there's one time where I was like moving towels and I put them in like a garbage bag, but they were like really clean. And we put them on the floor for some reason, and then we came back and the fluffy cat was sitting in the bag on the towels. And we're like, those were clean, and now they're not.
Not no more. Well, cats will always make it dirty. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cat likes to get into our baskets and boxes, of course.
Oh yeah, we have a calico cat. She loves boxes. If you put a box on the floor, she will get in it. She's like our stereotypical cat. She does all the stereotypical cat things.
Does yours try to eat your food?
Oh yeah, I give him some of my food sometimes.
Yeah, mine will like try to grab at my licorice or pizza, or what, like if I like cheese on my fingers or something from chips. She'll try to like lick those, or like Funyuns, ham.
No, I mean he's pretty good about that. Like I will like put something on my finger and I'll give it to him and he'll lick it off. But he won't like go for my plate or anything.
Mine will try to do the sneaky paw, like trying to reach for the plate and get the crust like of the pizza. That's how she works. It's yeah, very funny.
Sometimes when I usually don't let him sleep with me because he like wakes me up in the middle of the night, but sometimes in the morning he'll want me to be awake, so he like reaches out and puts his paw on my face, and I'm like, oh god, cat, get out of my face.
Oh, they just love being in your face. Like, yeah, I'm here. I'm sitting here now. Your face is part of it.
Exactly. It's like, wake up, let me out. I'm hungry. Feed me.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought I'd just close. See, like, look, she's like trying to eat my Funyun. She's so weird, and like Cheetos or licorice, she'll try to eat all the time. For some reason, my picture like made her head look really weird here, but
oh my god, that's so cute.
When she gets cozy, she like really falls asleep like a fat lazy dude would, just like total arms anywhere, just clenching whatever's nearby.
That's my cat too. Like all of our cats sleep really weird, especially like the fluffy one. Sometimes he's just like spread out, legs spread on his back. It's the funniest thing in the world.
I love it when they're on their backs like that, just showing the belly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tina Babes in the chat says, "Hey there, guys! Just got home from my book club, and as with most book clubs, there was drinking. So what's going on?"
We're talking about cats, Tina.
Yeah, we finished talking about film and everything, so now we're on to the cat portion as we close on out of here. And yeah, those two bald guys just entered in. Both of them actually, Tina and those two bald guys, are pretty cool with Odin's movie blog also. So yeah, if you've seen them,
Tina's a Valkyrie.
Heck yeah, she is. I was gonna have her on my on a Geeks and Gamers stream a while ago for I was trying to get moderators, basically, like just like mods that are on everybody's streams in the background, but aren't usually on the panels. I was like gonna have all the mods try to come on, but that's so hard to schedule because Odin was streaming, so I couldn't.
God, Odin.
Like he couldn't do, and then he moved it like a half hour earlier than he usually does. I'm like, I couldn't even get him for half an hour.
And I remember like scheduling my first stream, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm doing a stream because of this," and I literally like messaged him like, "Hey, I scheduled a stream because I knew you weren't gonna do a stream." He's like, "I'm gonna do it earlier than yours," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yep. That's awesome. Tina says, "Yeah, that dang Odin." Yep. But yeah, I think this is her in my underwear when I was trying to in the bathroom. She thought that was a cozy.
Oh my god.
That looked like a cozy spot for some reason.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that before.
She's like, "Yep, I'm gonna camp out here now. This is where I'm gonna go to sleep." I'm like, "Really?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna close out. Thank you everybody in the chat for listening on in. This has been an awesome stream. You've been an awesome guest.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a great
topic.
Thank
you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, definitely want to have you on here again at some point. You only stream once in a while, but I'm sorry if I took your Thursday streaming time because I think that's when you normally stream.
Totally fine. I mean, it's basically the same thing, just redirected to your channel.
Okay, makes sense. Well, it's like I love interacting. Like I try doing one-on-one chats. You do very good at that. I am not very good at just having chat come in and then I'm talking, because then I feel like I have to talk really fast if there's like any dead air. I'm like, okay, and then I have to be talking, and okay, the next one, okay.
Yeah. I'm not actually great at like just me in the chat, because again, also when the chat ends, I'm like,
yep.
So what's going on with y'all? Waiting for the chat to pick up again. What are we gonna talk about?
I'm the same way.
I'm not good at starting conversations.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm okay with like BSing some stuff, but like if there's an audience watching, I'm like, okay, how are you entertained by anything I'm saying, unless it's something that I'm talking about?
Exactly. Okay, I'm like, let's go back to the previous topic and try to find something else about it that I haven't talked about yet.
Exactly, and that's my back and forth. I think is good for extra flow. It gets you time to think. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. We shall be closing out. I don't know when's a good time for you to come on to another one. I'm going to see if I can get more film-centric people on here. Like I do a lot of ones with other YouTube channels, of course, like all the time, and comic book ones, and reaching out to different areas. But I want to have like a good film panel, people trying to get into it, because that's I haven't been able to go into that deep of conversations about film. So really want to do those. So, if you know people too, then point me in that direction, and I'll take a look. Odin doesn't count. I'm just kidding.
I mean, he's not really like. I mean, he knows a lot about film, but he's not really in the film industry or anything, and he doesn't want to be.
Movie theater before, I think that was the most. Yeah. All righty. Yeah, I suck at closing these out. I haven't come out with an outro yet, so I'm just gonna close this out.